we have and stuff like that. And around the 1980s, we figured out how to change that in organisms, which was crazy. And one of the first things they did was start making insulin in microorganisms. So before that, you had to like grind up pig pancreases or something to get insulin for diabetics.
That's crazy. Okay.
And that's what people use nowadays is insulin from genetically modified organisms. And then in the late 90s, they started doing experiments on humans. They called gene therapies, which was trying to treat diseases and illnesses in humans by, changing genes or supplementing genes and stuff. And then CRISPR came about in the past 10 years, maybe a little bit more. And that's just like a simple way to do genetic engineering. So now it's like really accessible to everybody. All of human history, all of the history of the earth and the universe, nobody's ever like made a choice about the genetics of organisms. And now we can do that. Now we can say like, we want human beings to not get this disease, or we want human beings to all be 6 feet tall or whatever. Here's the thing, it's like, I got my PhD and worked at NASA, and everything everybody wanted to experiment on was like, shit, like I want to engineer a human that can, have a tail or wings or some shit like that. Like nobody wants to work on, some boring, fruit fly sex or some shit. Like nobody does.
No.
But like so many people do, because like that's what the grants are for. Like really you want to, be creating the fucking future, right? You want to make, lightsabers and time machines and shit. When I was at these organizations, traditional organizations, I was just like, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we all like trying to create dragons and stuff? Okay. Because it was always like, you have to do experiments in the parameters of this, and those experiments were usually really boring. I don't want to measure how this like protein from a mushroom like interacts with, bacteria or something. Like it's not interesting. There's like 3 people in the world who care about that. But that's where all the grants come from and stuff.
Is there a reason why the grants are just like, here's a boring thing for you to figure out? Like, what is the purpose behind that?
It's like one of those issues that is built into the system. What ends up happening is you have all these people who have boring ideas, and they're surrounded by other people who have boring ideas, and they just want to pat each other on the back and just be like, and there's not much diversity in science either, right?
Right.
Like all these people who are professors, it's all just like a specific type of person. I'm not going to call somebody out.
Yeah.
It's just like a specific type of person from a specific socioeconomic class that like went to specific schools and had specific parents. And it's like, it's very homogenous. And so you get these very homogenous ways of thinking, right? Because people aren't like, I'm going to do something crazy and new and different, because like, why? Right?